The president will be inaugurated on March 3rd of 1845. And so the idea was the day he's inaugurated, he'll walk in with this bill on his desk. And that was the plan for Polk to do this. So they voted, they finally compromised on a bill. And it's kind of clever. You know, the whole issue about slavery? All it said was Texas will come into the Union under its existing laws. Meaning what? It allowed for slavery, so it's going to have slavery. I think that's what we said. Yeah, going to have slavery. It never said slavery in the law. So everyone can kind of act like they're voting for something else. Oh, and remember, Texas is huge. How many states can Texas be? They decided to say Texas can be up to 5 states whenever Texas wants. To this day, if the Texas State Assembly decides, they can break up into up to 5 states. That's still the law of the land today.
Could Alaska do that too?
No, only Texas, because that was written into the law for Texas. It wasn't written into the law for Alaska. So this law from 1845 still applies to Texas. In the early 1960s, Texas actually talked about breaking up into 2 states. The idea was to get 2 more senators that would be opposed to civil rights, to stop the civil rights movement. They seriously talked about it. There was some talk about it in 2009, but it was more just talk. Hey, 1963, there was serious talk. Well, end of February, they signed it, and just waiting for Polk to be inaugurated. That's the plan, right? There's one little hitch. Who's still president? Who was president? The guy who was kicked out of both parties. He replaced Harrison. Who? Tyler's still president. And Tyler wanted to annex Texas. They just assumed Tyler would wait you didn't win, so just wait until Polk. No, Tyler signed the bill. Tyler got the last laugh. Tyler's the president who annexed Texas. Polk, Democrat, everybody was mad at Tyler. Nobody liked Tyler. But he got the last laugh. This is a map from 1852, 1853. And I like this map because look how accurate it is. It's pretty remarkable how accurate they were at making maps. They were very talented. And what Indian tribe controlled this area? Actually, there were Chippewa there, but Chippewa were in Oklahoma Territory. Comanche, yep. Comanche is in Ohio, yeah. The Chippewa had been sent to the Indian Territory from the south. So they were actually really near there. So, with that now, Polk is president. His number one objective, even though he never said it, was gone. And he has other goals. You can really see the glass negative. Look at all the bubbles in the glass negative because the glass had some imperfections. That's a cool picture. And by the way, for Polk, that is smiling. As I understand it, he was a fierce man. Worked 18 hours a day. In fact, he would die very quickly out of office. He basically worked himself to death. And you ever see presidents, you know, once again, just look at Obama, how much he aged. It's like amazing. So, he had these goals. Lower the tariff, that happened. They did lower the tariff a little bit. Next, strengthen that independent treasury that was started with Van Buren. That replaced the Bank of the United States. And his basic structure would last until 1913. It was flawed. Of course, there's flaws with the current system. They talked about fighting Britain for Oregon, yet he cleverly would get an Oregon Treaty signed, splitting it in half. Smart, isn't it? Really, he didn't want war. Oregon would be split. They just extended the 1818 border, the current border, just to the sea. Very smart. He didn't want war.
Was that with Britain?
Yeah. And he tried to buy California. That did not happen exactly the way he wanted. And being not able to buy California would lead directly to the Mexican-American War. They called it the Mexican War, but you'll see it a lot of the time at the actual visual name, the Mexican-American War. And since we named 2 countries, who won? Who won the Mexican-American War? Well, we should know this because you read this. Who won it? Who's ever named first lost. So America won. The Spanish-American War, who won? How about the Franco-Prussian War? How about the Turco-Russian War? Not Prussia, Russia. Close enough. Tracker is game. Cats lost. I mean, that's just the way it is, right? If you don't care, good for you. If you care, haha. All right, so John Slidell was sent. He was a diplomat, actually a congressman diplomat. He'd become that was taken during the Civil War. He'd become a Confederate diplomat, but he went to Mexico City. Don't worry about the U.S. claims. But when he tried to get the Rio Grande for the southern border of Texas, and I'll show you in a second why that was so important, but also by New Mexico and California. Basically, he wanted to give about 15 to 18 million bucks. Well, no. The Mexican government absolutely refused. Now, it's not Santa Anna. Santa Anna was ousted from power. When Texas was annexed by the U.S., he had to flee for his life. Santa Anna went to Havana. All right, so it just rolls off the tongue. Havana, Cuba, which was then still a Spanish colony. Yes?
So he tried to buy New Mexico?
Yeah, basically a mission to buy New Mexico and California. New Mexico is huge. If you look at this map over here, you see the area in orange? All this big area right here, that's New Mexico. So what do Utah, Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, and Colorado today. All that was New Mexico. They refused him, and now Polk wants to find a way for war. He would intrigue in California, which I'll tell you more about in a second. But what he did was this. This is Zachary Taylor. General, a Whig. He was ordered, now we have a tiny army, only about 20,000 men. But he was ordered down to the mouth of the Rio Grande. If you look at this map right here, see he ordered right down here, to Fort Brown, now Brownsville, Texas. See where the Rio Grande is? If the Rio Grande is the southern border, that means that all this area here where my mouse is, that would be part of the United States. Mexico said it's just the Nueces River right here, and that means just here. That's a lot of land. He went down there either to intimidate them, and if they couldn't be intimidated, provoke them. Give an excuse for war. Now, you can really see the bubbles in this one, and one very unfortunately placed bubble right where the mouse is. Or, as I said, he should get that checked. So, it happened. It's called the Thornton Affair. And what Taylor did is, even though he actually did not approve of this, he followed orders. He was sending dragoons out to patrol all along the river. What's a dragoon? A fire-breathing lizard, exactly. So we're sending fire like cavalry. Horse soldiers, they had a sword and a cut-off rifle called a carbine. So just light cavalry. And they were attacked. Now the story that Polk said is they were attacked on American soil, so north of the Rio Grande River. 11 men were killed. And this would be the excuse, the justification for a declaration of war. It's called the Thornton Affair because that's the commander in charge. I'll explain this in just 1 second. Well, we don't know. We don't know where this actually happened. It did happen. But Taylor sent patrols south of the Rio Grande too. The Rio Grande is so shallow. You just walk across it in some areas. And then the bell rang. And so they had no choice but to declare war on Mexico. This is going to set a very bad precedent. Who's been to the Rio Grande? Beautiful, isn't it? Color of root beer, isn't it? Well, all those dusty rivers are that color. We can do it after school today, or do you want to do it like, you can do That's fine. Yeah.
So you. Yeah, that's how much I am. And we can quiz tomorrow. Guys, I always look for BMX. So it's like.
We're going to the library, Dexter.
Why are you